I want you to get that in your mind, because as artists, you don't want to limit yourself. You don't want to limit your talents or your abilities, because you don't know how far you can go. So only you can determine that. I can't, nobody else can determine how great that you are going to be. Okay? At your age, you need to be thinking about, I'm going to be the best, period. You're going to be better than me. I want you to be better than me. Because if you don't wind up being better than me, then I haven't given you 100%. Most adults, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. What do you think adults think about kids? What do you think? And you know, you almost grown, so I know you have some ideas. Because are you 17 yet? 16 or
17?
You're 17. So I'll start with you.
I think a lot of adults think that kids aren't serious, or that they don't really know much.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I feel like adults think that kids are immature.
Okay. Okay. What about you? Never thought about it? About 10, are you 13?
I'm 12.
Oh, okay. Well, Nikki, you need to start thinking about it.
Oh, I can 13 this year.
You do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you'll be a teenager. You need to start thinking like a teenager, right? So, just think about Michael Jackson. Probably 9 years old when he started. Was it around 9? Excuse me? 8. Better than everybody. Prince, the same thing. Picasso, same thing. You have all of your talents and abilities already inside of you. I'm trying to bring it out. So I want you to start thinking seriously. Most adults and adult teachers don't teach you right, don't teach correctly. Even, I would say even college professors. A lot of times, what's your idea of college professors, you being taught? What do you think, how did they teach you? What did they think about you? What do you feel?
They taught me within their own opinion and how they saw, how they perceived they should be taught. And they taught me within their own opinion of what art should be. So they didn't actually teach me the fundamentals of art. They taught me what they perceived we should be taught.
Okay. Now that's kind of like a catch-22, because as a professional artist, we all should sort of come to the point where we think this is what art should look like, or this is what art should be. But we shouldn't teach other people that way. You know, that's like prejudice. You know, I'm bringing my prejudice on you. And what I found is that most adults in my city don't expect much from the kids. Juvenile detention center, the schools, they don't expect much. It's like they don't believe, it's almost like they don't really believe, especially in my community. It's like they don't believe that our kids can be great. I believe you can be great, okay? So I expect a lot, because you have a lot.
So it's like they take the only things that they think are important about art, and that's what they teach, instead of teaching a well-rounded scope of art.
Yeah, the foundation is the most important thing. In all of the arts, the fundamentals and the foundation, you need to know those. You need to be really good at those. and then you can break all the rules. Get good at, you need to know which rules to break. And when you're breaking a rule, you should know I'm breaking this rule. I could have done it this way, but because of what this work is about, this art is about, I'm making a conscious decision to make it imbalanced on purpose, to make it rough on purpose. You know, I can draw a super realistic person, or I can draw a very abstract person, because I know my materials, I know the foundations, I've honed my skills, and I'm great. That's why I want you to get it. I'm great. And it's hard for adults to teach you in that fashion, where they know that you're great, but they need to guide you into greatness. Like any coach would. Guide you down the path that's going to lead to, this is going to be, this art, you know, it's going to be good. A lot of teachers just let you do whatever you want to, and they don't help you. Okay, so I'm not that kind of teacher. That's why I brought this back out. This is like a secret sauce. You need to know this stuff. I'm giving you this before, you know, when you get to college. Did you get this in college? Okay, so, but you have brains, you're human beings. You can do whatever you want to do, can't you? You have memory, you can remember stuff, right? You're just learning this early. Okay? So I want every time you draw something, even if it's sketching, if it's practice, have in your mind the foundations of art that you know, like drawing. I know I have at my disposal line variation. I know I can have light lines or heavy lines. If I'm using ink, I know I can either just use black ink, or I can water it down and use different shades of ink. And I'm controlling all of that. Then there comes a point where you say, I don't want any control. That's when you start throwing stuff around. But still, you have to decide, am I going to throw something on the left side of the canvas or the right side? You are always making decisions, okay? So I want you to have that type of energy. It's almost like a competition. As if anybody play sports? I know you do. You do gymnastics. Have you been watching what Simone Biles is doing now? Yeah. She's still on top. She's come back, and I was watching her this morning, and she's still doing things nobody else can do. And she started doing that when she was your age, right? So anything's possible. And I know everybody here go to church. I know you do. The Bible says all things are possible to him that believes it. You ever heard that before, that scripture? I believe that. The Bible also says that I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. Y'all ever heard that? See, I put all that in my art, in my life. I put all that in there. Everybody in here, this is what, you see us here, just look around at everybody. This is what America looks like. This is what's called Splash. We are, what's the word they use? It's kind of like for just social justice. During COVID, there's a phrase that came out, diversity. I had to think about that word. This is what America looks like, us. This is what I think the library should look like. This is what I believe, festivals should look like. What we look like on Wednesday and on Saturday. we are all from different cultures. You all understand that? Your culture is what would you call yourself? Latinx or Hispanic? What do you call it?
No.
Find out. How old are you?
12.
Okay, find out next year, by next year.
Your identity is important, because you'll grow up with that. Your identity is very important.
What do you call it? What's your culture? African American, okay? Oh, for crying out loud. And Ananya, what's your culture?
Asian.
Asian? Okay, what's your culture?
I would say white Hispanic.
Say again?
White Hispanic.
Okay. Culture is very important. Like he said it better than I could, identity. Know thyself. Right? Know who you are. And who you are goes all the way back to like mama, grandmama, and them, great-grandmama, great-great-grandmama, grandpa, all the way back to your place of origin. All of that is inside of you. It's in your DNA. Know who you are and be proud of it. Know who you are and be proud of it. Be proud of it. Because if you don't know your story, other people will tell your story. And they will tell it wrong every time. I cannot tell your story. With all my art skills, if I paint a picture, I can have Hispanic people or African, well, I can tell your story, but Asian people, I can have everybody in my painting, but I can't tell their story like they can, because you have stories from your grandparents, don't you? I do. My grandmother was something else. I mean, but I have stories that's, has shaped who I am. And anyway, I'm not gonna talk about my past, but this is the artist's job. But we can lose it. Because didn't your teachers tell you that? About your culture and your history and tell your story?
Yeah.
It's very important, isn't it? That's where your art is.
Yeah, you put your culture and your history into your art. That's where it comes from. Your passion and your feelings goes into your art.
And a lot of times you don't know it, right? You don't know your culture. Talk to mama, talk to grandma. What was it like in, Venezuela? But you was in Venezuela as a child.
I lived there.
Did all your family live in Venezuela, or did they come from somewhere else too?
Yeah, like most of my family lived in Venezuela. Part of my family was from France.
Okay.
But that was like my grandparents.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but so, how did they get to France?
Well, they lived in France and then they moved to Venezuela.
Yeah, but they had to go get to France from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Venezuela is one of the countries that I studied all the countries in Central and South America. Venezuela has an in-depth and huge history that I would definitely tell you to, as you get older, to start learning about your country.
Yeah.
It has an incredible history.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like Europeans, like European people in Venezuela. There's people in Venezuela that have like European blood.
Mm-hmm. Right. Also, like Mexico, is that like where your family origins?
No. My mom's family is from Honduras, and then my dad's from Venezuela.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm from Honduras.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See how small the world is? But Honduras has
It's
a
rich.
rich culture as well.
Yeah, my mom and like her family, they were born in Guanajuato.
So we were born
Oh,
in
right.
Toledo.
That's right. I remember this time we first met. Right. You know what?
I am
Yeah.
from the Netherlands.
And
I'm
she's
from the old country.
Yeah, she's from the old country. The old country. Yeah, I like that. This rich history. So living in America, especially the Deep South, I hate to say it, but I don't believe our society recognize all of our cultures or celebrate it. So you have to celebrate it. You celebrate it. I'm telling you, and in studying art, when I go look at art from your past, it relates to my past, Africa. I see some of the same designs. You know, when I think about some of the monuments and pyramids and things like that, you know, it's like, okay, I can see where mankind comes from, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's so exciting. So I want you to start thinking about those kind of things and express yourself through the lens of who you are and where you're from. Your family. When I say where you're from, I mean your family. Okay? The stories that you heard, your food, you know, clothing, dress, you know, colors. Yeah, music, right? Music. And man, there's a wealth of information for your art, especially when you start to use colors. Right now, we're not using colors. I want colors to be in your mind right now. But when you start to use colors again, put that in there so that you're not like a robot or automaton or you know, you guys didn't see Star Trek, I guess. But there was a group called the Borg. You ever heard of the Borg? Anyway, Star Trek was awesome though. You need to go look at it on YouTube or something. So the Borg would assimilate people, right? Make the worlds. They would go into all these worlds, conquer planets and worlds, and assimilate them into the Borg, right? And they were the most feared beings in the universe. And if you're not careful, you will be assimilated into America and you won't even know who you are. You'll be just like everybody else. But that's not for the artists. For us, we represent our culture. We are the carriers. You know, when I'm dead and gone, and I won't be here forever. You won't get this kind of teaching forever, so I hope you appreciate it. When I'm dead and gone, 200, 300, 500 years from now, or 1,000 years from now, when they dig up artifacts, if they find one of my paintings, they're gonna see my people. They're gonna see my culture. But it'll be my unique way of expressing myself, though, okay, the way I do it. So everything must be taken into context. Javera, could you look at a definition of context? Anybody know what I mean when I say context? We're leading up to what you're going to do today, by the way. Do you know what's your idea of context? If I say everything needs to be taken into context.
I guess it's kind of like using information from before, like something you already know about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes.
Just to take all the information and fully understand and assess.
Right. And
Basically did it.
And that's why you're on your path.
Just go to
That's why you
college.
chose your majors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a type of context that you think you need to change some things in the world. So you're going to learn about it, right? And then you're going to learn everything you can about it, the science of it, I guess. and then you're gonna switch over, and then you're gonna fight for it one day, right? And you right there. Do not abandon your art, because you can fight for it with your art. Your art could probably take you further than even being a lawyer.
There are some artists that do some nature type of art that actually helps nature and helps preserve some of the natural aspects.
Matter of fact, there was just a commission out. It may still be available to do an art project about the environment. I don't know if it's still available or not. But you could have created something. And I need to see, if you remind me, I'll see if it's still available, because it might be like $5,000, $10,000.
I did a project on an artist called Mel Chin, and he does art that actually helps the environment. Like, he created records that were made out of recycled plastic. He made a bridge that was art, but it actually helped revive an endangered species of plants by putting the plants on these little octagonal pieces on the bridge in Texas. So art can actually save the environment. So if you start doing
And look, check
research
this out.
on
The
it.
art will go worldwide.
Art can also create awareness about certain situations.
And then that's politics.
Doesn't have to be politics.
But it is, though, whether you want it to be or not. So when you create awareness, because I'm right in the middle of a political struggle about Splash and what's going on with the people we serve now in this city. So whether I hate politics, but when you create awareness, politicians want votes. So me, if I want to, I have thousands of people, at least 4,000 people that I can come to support me in whatever battle I want to fight. But I learned years ago, don't fight every battle. And that's politics. When, not this last election in Chattanooga, but the election before that, the mayor came and knocked on my door one day at my house, because he wanted my vote. He knows I'm connected to a lot of people. And I live in the hood. So I was like, tell my I asked him, the mayor's on the porch. I said, what you doing over there? Anyway, everything is politics. Okay, but you guys have any questions about what I just said? Okay, so I want to show you how you understand context. Does everybody understand context? Okay, so us talking about this, I was presenting a context. Whatever art you do, you have to use not just this, but all of the foundations of art that you know, and make decisions about it. Whatever art you do, your culture is the context. Because if you are making art and your culture is not in there anywhere, that means you're not in your art. You are your culture. Okay? Be proud of who you are. One day you may have to fight for who you are. I'm fighting for the history of my people in Chattanooga to not be erased, which is what's happening in our city. Our black history and our culture is being erased. Okay? There's a lot of culture. Chattanooga is full of culture. How many times, how many Native Americans have you seen? This is their land we're on. Their whole history was erased. You ever heard of the Trail of Tears?
Mm-hmm. It started right here. Do you know how many Native American tribes actually lived in this area? 6 tribes that lived and shared this land because of the river, and now there is none.
And just the Cherokee had 7 different types of different, I don't know what word to use. And that's leading into what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna show you what I'm working on, okay? And I want you to follow what I'm working on so that you can see, you know, how art might go. Not that you're gonna copy what I do or do it the way I do it. I just want you to see it, okay? So can I get you guys to move this board so that they can see what I'm doing back there?